Constantly asking for money and shit. Like I had it easy. If I ever cross you out and stop fucking with you, it was for a reason. One thing about me, I never get mad. I just get easy. Might fuck on your best friend, fuck on your sister, then record it. You lying to me and want me to believe it. You must think I'm morbid. I'm fucking the city up. I'm fucking the world up, having an orgy. And these niggas talking like they want problems, but they really avoid it. I'm setting the record straight. I'm willing to demonstrate any day. And I gotta say what I'm finna say. I really came up off the interstate. I got out of jail with no money. I went and found a snow bunny. I came up off the whole money. I got that hustle and flow money. I jumped off the PJ with bags. I loaded them into a Tahoe. I pulled off in a Lamborghini. That shit had me feeling like Rollo. She want me to play in her pussy. I'm finger fucking these papers. These bitches that talk bad about you, didn't wanna fuck you, so I'm fucking a hater. Ay, ooh, I came up. Ooh, I came up. Ooh, that man up. Red bottom, red venture, nigga, red flag, I'm flamed up. When I went fed, I came back home and changed my name up. Now what they call Finesse 2 federal fed for real, I'm fucking the game up. My bitch yellow, drink yellow. Kush make me think better. Perks make me fuck better. I'm flirting with the bank teller. I look like a motherfucking Kia. I look like a motherfucking Lord. Shorty wanna fuck with a G. I'ma beat the pussy till it's swole. I'ma eat the pussy like I'm drunk. 9 grams crammed in a blunt. Pull up to the show with the pump. Fuck the back, I'm going through the front. Get the back in, do the show. Find me a freak, then I bounce. Fuck the bitch until she go to sleep. Wake her up and put the bitch out. Get out. Go that way. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of mobs over the world, right? But I'm talking about mob ties, nigga. H-Town over here. Bitch over here to stay. Yeah.
My Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the No Bull-ish podcast. I am very sorry. We have to reschedule Mr. Ron Ramos. Uh, our wires basically got crossed up. I'm waiting for him to respond back, and hopefully, there's still a chance that he's jumping on. And he's on that California time, so he's 3 hours behind us. So basically, it's like 7:14 where he's at right now. So I'm holding on to a little bit of hope that he jumps on, man. He sees this message and he jumps on. So let's cross our fingers. So what's going on, everybody? I'm kind of disappointed. Definitely wanted Mr. Ron Ramos on here, man, and speak to him. But everything happens for a reason. Like I said, everything happens for a reason, man. But like I said, man, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that he can jump on here. Like I said, it's 7 o'clock in Cali, I think, like 7:14 in Cali, 7:15 in California right now. So, it's still early. He was with family members. So I don't want to push the issue with, forcing or trying to make somebody come on. They're spending time with family. That's very important. I don't know you know, what the occasion is, but it's really not for me to ask, but it's definitely some family time. So I am not upset, I'm not mad at all. If we have to reschedule the time, we have to reschedule the time with Mr. Ron Ramos, Papa Pitt. But we're here right now. So I got the link up. Anybody wants to come on? Anybody want to come on? And speak their piece about the state of the bully world, or want to talk about bully talk, any suggestions on which we should speak on. I'm totally thrilled right now. I'm sorry. I'm thrilled, man. I am thrilled right now. Anybody else thrilled? You see interview with the one and only Ron Papa Pitt Ramos, and it's confusing just seeing my ugly mug up here by itself, Keep checking my phone. So I'm thinking about just, ending it. Thinking about just ending it because I don't even know if he's gonna come on. We should try to reschedule for tomorrow or something like that, unless there's somebody that wants to come on here and talk about something. Let me see. It sucks. This sucks. All right, hold on. What's good, y'all? Who wants to jump on, man? Come on. Somebody make this interesting, man. I'm tired of coming on by myself. I have to do most of the speaking. This one is a total fail. I'm disappointed. And I can blame myself for this because he hit me up at 9:04 and asked me if I was still on. And he hasn't responded back from that. But it's understandable. Like I said, he's with family. Nick, I'm gonna send you an invite. Hold on. I'm gonna send Nick. What's good, James? What's popping, homie? Yep, I'm live on Facebook too. I'd rather y'all jump on my YouTube. You can check out, you can see the link on the YouTube page. You can join me on the YouTube page. Hold up. Unless you can't see it and I have to send it to you through Messenger. Well, let's check. I'm about to send it there. Let me see. There we go. Paste. Send. Boy, there we go. So yeah, we was talking earlier to Matthew Zimmerman. We're gonna have him on next week, and we was on live on Facebook, man, burning up the chat. Yo, man, I can't believe the conversation. I wasn't even prepared for that to happen. For an amazing dialogue between him and I towards the public, towards the community. It was crazy, and I definitely wasn't expecting a beautiful conversation. He was just letting it out, man. The straight 100% bull talk. He's the one. He does not hold punches. Some people like some people like here we go. What's good, Nick?
What up?
Yeah, so some people, I'm gonna mute you real quick. So some people like stuff candy coated, like a lot of sugar in their tea or whatever. Me, I can drink tea just plain. I don't even need any sugar. I don't need none of that stuff. I can enjoy the natural flavors of it. But there's a lot of people that can't. I would like to join, but I'm driving at the moment. It's cool, man. Whenever you're down, man, just send it in. I'll send you matter of fact, here, I'll put the link in the description again. As many y'all I can have as a few people on here. So I definitely wouldn't mind having a group discussion. It would be awesome. We all could talk. But we had an awesome conversation with Mr. Zimmerman and myself, and he's coming on next week, and we definitely gonna have a dope dialogue with the community. And I don't think y'all ready for that. I don't think y'all ready for the rawness that he's gonna bring, and I don't think y'all ready for the rawness that Nick Angry Ink's gonna bring too, because he come with that. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. What's going on, Nick?
What up,
man? I'm still hoping that I can get Mr. Ramos on. Yeah, but he's with his family, man. He was spending time with his family, man. And there's nothing more beautiful than family and spending time with them, man, around this time of the year. So
yeah,
it seems like he has people from out of the state, you know what I'm saying, or out of the city to spend time with them for upcoming Thanksgiving. And I just kind of botched the time. And it's probably good that the timing is off. It's probably good that the timing is off anyway. I missed him at 9:07. I answered him back at 9:35. But I ran out real quick. But he's with family, man. I'm definitely not upset. I'm just a little disappointed.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen. He's a man of his word.
Yeah, he definitely is. Definitely is.
Not a big deal. I was like, no, don't throw in the towel, bro.
Don't throw it in.
Talk about.
Yeah, there's always something to talk about. Like, so earlier, I don't know if you was on the live with me.
Yeah, I actually went back and rewatched it because I kind of got on seeing it towards the end, and I wanted to see what he had to say.
Yeah, I gotta edit this. They're gonna be like, "That ain't Papa Pitt, bro. What's wrong with you?"
I need a fedora.
Oh shoot, man! Like, you know what I'm saying? This is false advertisement going on. This is this is not Papa Pitt right here, man.
I should have made my name Papa Pitt.
Right? You should have named yourself Papa Pitt, man. We wouldn't have been lying, right? But how's your day going, fam? What's going on with you, man? How's them gorilla pups you got going on over there, man? I don't think people understand the future grand champions you got over there, man.
Man, I'm trying to do something with this mail, bro. I want someone in the crew to take them. Just
send them over here. Send them.
Take them and show them. That's it.
Yeah.
No, because if anything, I might want to put a female over at your house.
I'm here for you, bro. You know I'm here.
Big bitch, dude. She's a beast. She's a beast. I can't believe how big she is.
I'm just waiting for Pup Smoke to come the right day and do that breeding.
Wait, did you already breed her or no?
Not yet. I think I don't know. Shots be tripping sometimes, man. So he was up her butt and his head started going boop, 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 boop. And I was like, yes. And for the last couple of days, he's just been pissing over her piece. So it's you know,
it's on its way.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that to happen, man, and I can't wait for that to happen. There's gonna be some gorillas, hopefully, out of that one. But I did an inbreeding. And that breeding took.
With the Marshalls?
No, with Joby's people.
Word.
And I'm waiting for that. It's my first inbreeding. I can't wait to see what comes out of it. You know.
What is it? Shots fired daughter.
Damn.
I'm curious to see that.
She's a beast too. She got all the muscles like Shots and everything. It's crazy. The neck, crest, headpiece is just stupid, man. It's just like, yeah, I'm excited to do this, man. Excited to do this breeding.
It's good. It's a good thing when you're excited about them. Those are the ones that hit.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that hit. Those are my favorite.
I'm excited about this Pup Smoke and Shots Fired breeding coming up. That's really what, you know. I think I'm just excited as I was when I was with Nubia to breed, because it's almost like the same type of breeding, but you know, a couple of generations pushed up.
Man, you've been waiting to double up on that Rizzy for so long, bro. It's gotta be like a relief that you're finally getting it done.
Yeah, it definitely is a relief. It's definitely, because it's been like, what, 4 years I've been waiting to do this damn breeding? 5 years?
I'm glad.
I know, man. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? So damn right. I planned for this breeding. Nubia had a prolapse, so we had to get her fixed years after she died from complications from that surgery. And yeah, you know, and it's just bittersweet now that we have a female over here that's gonna fulfill that what we were gonna take care of when Nubia was alive. Man, it's just an honor to do it, you know. Yeah. So,
and you're repping her too, which is, you know,
definitely repping her. Definitely repping her.
Oh, I'm just locking up at work right now.
What you about to head? You heading home? Is closed up?
No, I got another half hour in here, and then I got to go pick my van up because I had an expensive dinner last night, to say the least. I went to go meet up with a friend of mine. It was our other friend's mother's birthday, and she wanted to go see like this band play or whatever. So my buddy's like, "I'm taking her." I'm like, "All right, take her. Me and Jeff will meet you there." So I went and met up with my buddy Jeff. We grabbed a little bite to eat, and then I don't know, my keys were gone. I'm like, "What the fuck? I can't find my keys anywhere." We rip his car apart. We rip everything apart. We searched parking lot, all inside. Called everywhere we went. No key. Cost me $350 to have a guy come out and make a key for my car.
Damn it, man.
I know. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that was the most expensive dinner ever. Shit. I didn't even have my girl with me. It was just me and my boy. Fucking cost me an arm and a leg just to get a fucking key made. And I was like, yo, I'm making copies of this. Everybody's getting one.
Right? So I can call
a copy of this key right here. I never lose my shit either. I'm like, what the fuck?
So what do you think about the conversation we was having earlier about how do you feel about
I seen some comments in there like, oh, what if the ped's fake? I mean, if the ped's fake, you know the ped's fake, right? If you know everything's hung on the ped, then what are you doing? Like, why are you breeding that dog? 1, 2. If you know it's fake, then breed to what you know is real. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. It's crazy. I hear stories. You know what I mean? Even like, I just find it funny because I've had a lot of people. You know, people say like Revy wasn't Miyagi's brother, and I'm like, I still pull the same look off of La Madrina. Like, if I put her and Polly side by side, dude, it's crazy. They are spitting image of each other. And I'm like, yeah, all right. How could it not be? Why? What did anybody have to gain by saying that this dog was this dog's brother when they were puppies before the dog even had a big name? You know what I mean? So that was my first rebuttal on it. And then after I did my couple breedings, I'm like, I know for a fact it is now. I just reproduced the mother.
Honestly, I think that's just an excuse to do what you want, or for other breeders to give an excuse to do what they want instead of just saying, you know what, I'm tired of this, I'm gonna do what I want. So
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people, I look into the psychology of everything. So you know, sometimes I look too deep into things by doing that, but I rather do that and be wrong.
Not look at all.
Yeah, than not look at all. You know what I'm saying? So I'd like to know the mindset of the people who I'm talking to, or you know, the reason why they're saying certain things. Which brings me into speaking about the OGs and this American Bully game, who are not even on the sidelines. I'm saying that are in the stands, that are pointing the finger and telling us how the American Bully should look, how it should be bred, um, how it should be breathing, this and that, how the rear end should look. But at the end of the day, all they're doing is making a mess. I would say making a mess out of things between the newer breeders, and because that's who's listening, the newer breeders versus breeders like us and the old school breeders who are actually still in the game and that are breeding, because you're undermining the work that we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because there is work being done.
You know, it's like, I don't know if I had to compare it to something. It's like, you know, like the 72 Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, all right, they obviously don't want no one to go undefeated, you know, and take that.
This is a personal thing going. This is a personal thing right now.
Yeah.
I know this is personal.
No, but like they don't want anybody to take that away from them, right? Which I get, I understand. You know, and it's like the same thing with when it comes to like the breeding the American Bully. They don't want what they put so much time and effort into, you know, being overshadowed by what's, you know, being produced today. And I can respect that and I get that, but you know, they are the stepping stone for what we have in front of us now. You know what I mean? So if we're doing it wrong, at what point did you do it wrong to hand us the torch of, you know, what's being done wrong?
I want to know how to do it right. You feel what I'm saying? So if I feel like if you know, say you have a friend, man, and you can dunk, right? And he can't, right? And he's telling you, if you just do it like this, I'm telling you, I mean, it's good motivation at that point, you know what I'm saying? But after a while, you're gonna look at him and say, can you do it?
Here's the ball, you do it.
Yeah, like you show me, even if you get aggravated and it's the wrong thing to say at the time. But that's how I feel about these old school breeders, that they're telling us how to dunk. They're telling us how to dunk, but they can sit on the curb and swing their feet at the same time.
Yeah.
Now I don't understand it.
I was talking to the guy who actually bought second pick female off this litter, off my cornball litter. And you know, he was like going through telling me, you know, all the OG guys that he talks to and how he learned a lot of shit and, you know, how what I just produced is going to match up well with, you know, the stuff that he already has on his yard. And, you know, there's been some breedings that were done with similar blood and it's proven to work and blah, blah, blah. And we were just chopping it up. And he was telling me that, you know, he's learned so much from all these guys that have like permanently left the bully community. And, you know, the thing that sucks is it seems like the ones that stick around, they don't want to give anybody any real information.
Fuck them. That's why we're here. But
Like,
that's why we're here. That's irrelevant. Fuck them. That's why we're here. I'm sorry for my language, but that's why we're here. That's why we have this platform right here. So there's really no excuse. We don't care about their excuses. I don't care about their excuses. No. I don't give a damn about none of the excuses. I have a sick wife in the other room, man. You know what I'm saying? My wife is sick to the point. I mean, she had to have a bone marrow biopsy. Yeah. That I had to basically leave my job because her white blood cells are low and I can't get sick. She can't get sick, all that type of stuff. But we still are doing what we got to do. She's been sick for years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I had my son. I've had issues with my son and him leave. You know, just a whole bunch of drama. We had to leave a whole state. We had to so I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nobody's bullshit. I'm sorry for my language again. I'm trying to clean it up, but I don't want to hear it, man. You know what I'm saying? There's people in worse positions than me that's in this bully game that's 10 toes down. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
So all of this excuse about why they're not doing it and all this, it's all, I was being polite. And I was being kind of sarcastic at the same time to these dudes because, you know, I don't respect none of them that's just pointing a finger and pointing a direction, you know what I'm saying, instead of being a fine cut prints in the sand and that I can actually follow and look at and say, okay, this is the proper way to go to. Like Matthew came on. OG. Yeah. He showed us, listen, this is the way, and not just showed us, he's proven it by other people vouching for, vouching for his way to do it. So there's no excuse for any OG that's quit and has platforms and all they're doing is talking.
And they talk without a means to like an ending. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just talking shit. They're not coming out and saying, "Oh, look, you're doing this wrong, and this is how you do it."
Hey, somebody sent Terrell Quincy this link right here. I'm putting it in the chat. See if he can come on. You know, I don't want to debate with him. You know, I just want to have a clear the air conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel he has a very large following, man. It's a lot of new people that follow him. It's not too many people who've been in the game for a long time to actually follow him, but it's a lot of new people, and I feel like it's kind of dangerous to do what he's doing because it's like setting a wall between us and these new people coming in. You know what I'm saying? Because they're showing us what they think an example of an American bully is, and we're telling them good luck with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard when you have people I feel like it's undermining what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because we're working hard, bro.
Dude, I can't even tell you. These are the craziest, most dirty ass puppies I've ever had in my life. These dogs destroyed this crate, this area within 3 minutes. I swear, bro, I'll bust my ass in that thing for fucking 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, go to bed 4 o'clock in the morning, wake up at 7, and that shit is destroyed. Doesn't even look like I touched it. I'm like, oh man, Nick, I gotta do this again.
Nick,
oh,
I apologize, but I will have to holler at you, man.
Huh?
I'm gonna holler at you. I'm sorry, Mr. Ramos is on.
Oh, all right. Good. It's your early Christmas gift.
No, just I
Hey, I'll
easy,
be
fam.
watching.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
be
Yes,
watching,
sir.
bro.
Hold on. All right, y'all. Yo, my greatest wish has been answered so far, right now. And before I let this man on, let me do this the right way. Let me do this the right way because I got to introduce this man right, like. All right. So here we go. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. Here we go. Sorry. Look, I'm so excited. I can't even. Here we go.
Story goes. Baby, now I got the flow. Cause I know it from the start. Baby, when you broke my heart, that I had to come again and show you that I'd win. You lied to me. All those times I said that I love you. You lied to me. Yes, I tried. You lied to me. Even though you knew I'd die for you. You lied to me. Yes, I cried. Return up the man. Return up the man. Come on. Return up the man. Oh my God. You know that I've been there. Here I am. Return up the man. Once again. Return up the man. Top of the world. Return up the man. Watch my flow. You know that I've been there. Here I go. So I'm back up in the days. Running things to keep my swing. Letting all the people know that I'm back to run the show. Cause what you did, you know was wrong. And all the nasty things you done.
He's here.
Listen carefully while I sing
I hope y'all are ready.
my comeback song. You lied to me.
Return of the Mac.
She said she'd never turn on me. You lied to me. But you did. You lied to me. All this pain you said I'd never feel. You lied to me. But I do. Return up the man. Return up the man. Hold on. Return up the man. Don't you know? You know that I've been there. Here I go. Return up the man. Oh little girl. Return up the man. What's my pearl? Return up the man. Up and down. You know that I've been there.
Let's get it. Let's go.
Mark, stop lying about your big break.
You lied to me. She said she'd never turn on me. You lied to me. But you did.
This gotta be one of the top entrances right here.
But
Come
you
on.
did. You
Yo.
lied to me.
Let's go.
This pain you said
go.
I'd never feel. You lied to me. But I do.
Y'all get y'all pen and pads ready.
Do. Return up the man.
Telling you.
Return up the man. Come on. Return up the man. Oh my God. You know that I've been there. Here I am. Return up the man. Once again. Return up the man. Top of the world. Return up the man. You know that I've been there. Don't you know? Return up the man. Return up the man. Oh, return up the man. Be strong. You know that I've been there. Here I go. Return up the man.
Hey. So we have the one, the only Mr. Ron Papa Pitt Ramos in the building. What's going on, sir?
What's up, big dog? Forgive me for being late, you guys.
Man,
I had another an engagement I had to take care of with the family as well. So with that, please accept my apologies, man. I feel bad that I'm coming in here late. And again, I gotta say that I respect and love Joel. And the intro. I can listen to that all day long, baby boy, man. That was off the hook. That has got to be one of the best intros I've ever walked into, man. So with that
hey,
being
man.
said, I appreciate you. Love you so much, brother.
Hey, I love you too, fam. Hey, but that's what it's about, man. I ask all my guests what they want to hear, what song they want to hear, man, and that's what I do, man. And I'd be honored to play anything for you, man. It's all good, man. So how's your day going, Mr. Ron Ramos?
It's good, man. You say we had a little, I live in a real tiny, tiny community, man. The town that I live in is 1,600 people. To give you an idea of how tiny the community I live in. And they had a local event going on. They invited me out, and I had totally forgot about that. And I did that, and that's all done and said. And I'm so honored and glad to be a part of your podcast because, you know, I admire what you do with the community. You do a lot of great stuff. You teach people a lot of stuff. Like holistic care for their dogs, and I'm a firm believer in that because I don't think people realize how the cancer rate in dogs is accelerated because we do too much chemical. And when I see what you do, I truly admire and how do I say this, man? I think you're a super positive person for the community.
Man, I appreciate that, man. Coming from you, man, it means a lot to me. But today is your day. This is
Oh,
about you, man. This is
man,
interview is about.
I don't like those. It's my days, man. I'm here for you guys, man. You know, what I mean? And I respect and I admire you for that. Like I said, somebody's one of those things where man, if not for you guys, it wouldn't be my day. So it's one of those things where I truly am grateful to you and the entire community. So let's get this thing growing, man. Like I said, I can, like I said, I can listen to that intro all day long.
So if anybody has any questions for Mr. Ron Ramos, please put it down in the comments and I'll bring it up. So, Mr. Ramos, where did it all start? What was your first? I know this is probably going back a little back in the days, but I know the love that you have for these dogs trumps all. So I'm gonna ask, what was your first dog and what made you get that first dog that you purchased or was gifted?
Well, Cindy, that's a great question, man, because, I'm sure that people have seen my story in bios multiple times, man. But I'm gonna take it further back because for you because I think you're one of the most you know I admire you probably more so than a lot of people, man, because again going back to what you do, you know what I'm saying, but I've been in dogs my entire life, man. You know, being that I'm in a farm community, a rural community, having a dog it's life. It's part of life. It's part of the family. When you live out in the farmland, a great dog is quintessential. Some of those things where, man, if you ain't got a dog, you ain't got an alarm system.
Right.
That's how far back it goes, man. Even though alarm systems, it was the dog, man. And I've had many a great dog, and I had a dog when I was a kid growing up. I'm talking about, maybe 10 years old. But again, I had dogs my entire life from birth. But this one little dog, his name, we used to call him Butchie. And Butchie, it's so ironic and so funny because Butchie was probably, he was smaller than a pocket. And this was, like I said, this is back when I'm 10 years old, maybe even younger. And I am now 65, so that we're talking, what I gotta say, 50 years ago, you know what I'm saying? So even further back than that. and he was just so cool, man. And from that point on, I had an admiration for, for like a compact bully dog, and Butch, again, Butchie, we called him Butchie. He was just a little tiny guy, and he was really super thick, compact little guy. And from there, I've had every breed since. I had, I've had, Chihuahuas, Samoyeds, Dobermans, Rottweilers, German Shorthair Pointers. I mean, Dobermans, everything of this I had growing up as a kid, because I guess, I lived in a farm community. So we had dogs. It was like, it was part of the family, and, but there's one dog in particular which I will never forget. He was owned by a gentleman by the name of, this family's last name was Trevino. And he had a little dog, and they called him Junior. And Junior was probably no bigger than 14 inches, 15 inches. And he had a head like a pumpkin. I was like blown away, man. I said, man, where did you get this guy, man? And he was a pit bull. He was a red nose. But the thing was, though, he was something I never seen, man. He was an anomaly. Like I said, I can't say it enough that he was just short, compact, and a head that was just tremendous. And he was just ripped. And I fell in love with the guy. And then from there, it progressed to other dogs. And then, but the thing was that I always went back to the pit bull, because I just, I just couldn't get over the muscularity, the tenacity of the animal. And I used to go to after that, I was in high school and I got my car. So I thought I was a cool guy, I had a little 69 Mustang fastback, and I would drive around with my friends. And I came across a guy by the name of Steve Dunleavy. And Steve Dunleavy, he probably thought I was just a crazy kid. He was a little redneck guy. And here comes a little Mexican kid. And his yard was very small. He lived in a trailer. And it was him and his dad. And this guy had some amazing game dogs. And when I say game dogs, these were real, in the box game dogs. And these were dogs that, they couldn't be around anything on four legs, because they would devastate it. It was the old school type stuff, and it was real serious animals. And then from there, I progressed to my mentor, which is a lady by the name of Patty Allen, and God rest her soul. She passed away about 4 years ago, and that was the birth of Papa Pitt. That lady, and I spent every single day with her for years, just trying to understand and learn about the origin of the American Bully, which was the pit bull. And I will never forget that woman. And I wish she was alive today. And I wish I would have had a picture with her just to archive it, to show the world that this is the lady that nurtured and taught me everything about dogs. I mean, from structure, breeding, showing. She used to have mock shows, and I would go there religiously to learn how to handle dogs. And I remember even purchasing my first dog from her, and back then it was $500, but man, $500 was like, $5,000 today, and when I came to my wife asking her, hey, sweetheart, I want to buy a show dog, because I want to start showing pit bulls. And she said, oh yeah, go ahead. That's fine. But when I told her it was $500, she said, well, that's a lot of money. We can't take this out of the budget. We're feeding kids, we're trying to pay rent, and at that time, I'm not going to lie, man, even to this day, I've never been blessed with a lot of money, but I've been blessed with a lot of passion. And sometimes passion versus money doesn't equal, so with that being said, she says, you can get it, but you ain't taking it from the paycheck. You know what I'm saying? So I had to be, creative to try to get the money for this dog. So I ended up setting up a barrel at my work, and I put on the, I would like to, if you could help me out, I'm trying to collect some money to do a project. So I literally collected aluminum cans to buy this puppy, and this is the honest to God truth. I collected aluminum cans to equate the $500 I needed to get this dog, man. So that's just to give you guys an
Talk
idea.
about industrious.
Oh man, you talk about, and not only industrious, but you talk about a passion. I was willing to do anything to get this damn dog, man. So I literally saved cans to finally get this animal, man. And it's one of the things where I'm so glad I did, man, because he's the one that brought me to where I am today.
Wow, that's the first time I ever heard anybody say they saved cans to buy a dog. $500, that's a lot of cans, man.
At that time it was, brother. Trust me, man.
You went black on me.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to find.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm still talking to you.
I was just like, hold up. All right, hopefully everything's good, man. You have to call I don't know what the electrical company is called.
No, I'm actually out here trying to find my other charger.
You know how the bully community is. We get on their ass real quick. And they'll probably give you a year free of electric. We get on them. But no, that's beautiful. So your first dog, you collected cans to buy this dog. So once you purchased this dog, how did you go along going to? Is this your first show dog?
Give me one second. Mercedes, what did you do with the charger that was outside? The charger that was outside. Yeah, it was out there in the patio and it's gone now. No, it's still there. Okay, it was there. I took it. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So you said you purchased your first dog with cans, and how did you? All right, so how did you enter your first show with this dog, and how did you do?
Well, that's a great question, man. Because again, forgive me, guys. I'm trying to find my charger. I don't want to die on you guys, man.
That's all good, man.
It was one of those things where I purchased the dog from the lady, Patty Allen, and her name was Country Allen's Midnight Raider, and we called him Spanky. And I bought the dog with all the intention of showing because I really got excited about it. And when I was attending shows then, the shows were more. They had a lot more going on. It was not only just the show ring, but it was also weight pool, and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun. That's what got me so involved. And it's so funny because these shows would go on at the SPCA, and they had the whole 9 yards, man. They had, like I said, they had the weight pool, the confirmation shows, and so forth. So it was one of the things where it was pretty well rounded. And she had taught me how to show the dog. We would do the mock shows, and I did fairly well. And it's so funny because, sometimes when some of these people that get these show dogs, they get a show dog and they expect to win automatically, and it's not like that. It's a lot of work and a lot of effort to get to the point of where you can actually handle a dog and learn how to show him properly. And Spanky, again, this dog was Patty Allen's, Allen's Country Cross Mr. Midnight Raider. And it's so funny because when I started, I didn't win, man. And it wasn't due to the fault of the dog. It was just due to the fault that I was just so new in the show ring. And he developed a nickname, and his nickname was Second Place Spanky.
Sorry about that.
No. Don't even apologize, man. If you think about it, it's hella funny. And the reason he got the name Second Place Spanky is because I swear to God, man, I probably got the world record for second places with the dog, man. You know what I'm saying? And this dog, but in the same token, I came to the realization that, this dog was in the fight every time we went into the show. You really think about it. Some people get really disappointed and whatever it may be. But the thing is, though, if you finish in the ribbons every single time, you got a good dog. You may have a dog that may win best in show once in his lifetime, but if you finish second place, for as many times as I did, you got a badass dog. For the fact of the matter is, and it was just not a wonder or a one hit type thing. The guy was in there every single time, and he finally ended up grand champion out. But the thing is that I never gave up on the dog, and he taught me a valuable lesson. And I don't think people realize sometimes your dog will teach you a lesson versus you teaching him a lesson. And the lesson he taught me was patience, you know, um, determination, and to stay true to what your cause is. Like I said, I could have gave up on the dogs and, oh man, I'm done. I can't win. And he taught me that with perseverance and patience, all is able to conquer. And he really taught me that. So I ended up grinding him out. And I think sometimes I've seen when after that, it progressed from there. But what I wanted to share with that is that I think sometimes when people get a dog and they just come out, you know, blasting away and they win everything in sight, and then they get that second dog that is not as easy to win and to campaign, they get disheartened and they quit. And I think sometimes it's better to get a dog that makes you work your ass off, because that dog's going to teach you patience and perseverance, so that from there on out, you got the fight in you, man, that you're not going to give up, and you're going to try everything you can to win. And it makes you a better handler, and it makes you a better breeder. And I think a dog like that is more valuable than you're landing your first dog that just the golden nugget, because the second one may break your spirit. So with that being said, that dog taught me so much that I will forever be thankful to Spanky, because he taught me not to give up, to be patient, and to never quit, man. So um, to Spanky and Patty Allen, man, I can't thank them enough, because, like I said, it's those people were the ones that made who I am today, man. I mean, because I've learned so much, and I've learned that never to give up, to always chase your dreams, no matter how difficult they are. And people may think that dogs is just, a hobby, but look at me now. I mean, it's one of those things where I was so blessed with these dogs that I've traveled the world. I've been to over 21 different countries. I have judged multiple shows for multiple registries. I've done multiple nationals for all the major registries. I have participated in all the nationals for multiple registries, and I have had dogs placed in the ribbons in every registry under the sun almost. I've had dogs that have placed in the nationals in the AKC, the UKC, the ABKC, the BRC, and so forth. So I mean, I'm blessed, and I don't say that in bragging. I say that in blessings from hard work. And there's no denying it. I'm saying? I'm the only way to say it is I'm blessed, man. You know, um, and I think that has made me humble, because it took so long to get there. And I think people don't realize that humble is strong juju. It's strong medicine, man. And there's nothing wrong with being cocky and confident, but it's like everything else, man. It's at the right place at the right time. Every time I walked into the show ring, I'm not gonna lie, I walked in like I'm a badass. I own this place. You know what I'm saying? So don't get in my way. You better put your dogs back in the crate, because I'm here. Papa Fit arrived, and I'm gonna do my thing. You know what I'm saying? And but that was in the show ring. It's like being a football player. Great football players on the grid are badass. Outside the grid, they're humble and they're good people, man. You know what I'm saying? So some things for you got to know when to be a badass and when to be the good guy. You know what I'm saying? So it taught me a lot, man.
So you weren't the LT of the dog world, and I guess the Lawrence Taylor of the dog world.
You know,
He'd
and the
whoop
big,
somebody. He'd whoop somebody's ass in and outside of the football field. So
yeah, it's funny because a lot of people probably don't know who the LT is, man. In the ring, I was the LT. Outside the ring, I was just a passive guy. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And so and my wife would tell me, you better calm down, man. You get awful cocky. And I would tell her, he said, no, you don't understand who you are. The dog feeds off of me. So when I step in that ring, I gotta be a badass. I want him to feel my vibe, man. I want that guy. It's so funny. I would tell people, I literally would grab leashes from people I was training. I said, listen, this leash is literally connected to your brain right here, right
Mm.
into that dog. So I would grab their leash and I go, look, it's right here, man. That dog connected right here with that leash. And they would look at me like, what are you talking about? I said, it's attitude, man. They can feel your vibe. They can feel your energy, your aura, when you step in the show ring. And I would literally just go in there like, I mean, it was only happening when I crossed that threshold into the show ring that I thought like, I'm invincible, and it fed off to the dogs. And that's why I think I had such a successful show run when I was showing dogs, you know, but it didn't carry outside the ring, and that's why I think I got so many followers and so many fans is that, even when I was just showing animals before I became a judge and all the notoriety, I was truly loved and liked because I was just a sincere guy, and I have never changed as far as helping my community.
Man, that's a beautiful thing, Mr. Ramos. How how did you become a judge? What made you go from saying, you know what, I'm showing these dogs to I want to actually become a judge? What made that turnaround? Because that's a big turnaround from becoming a person who is a competitor versus saying, you know what, I'm gonna just show versus competing. So how did that come about?
That's a great question. That's a question that I have yet to been asked, and it's one of those things where I hope I answer it right because what happened was, I had been showing, and when the inception of the ABKC came about, you know, um, Dave reached out to me and he said, Ron, would you like to judge for us? And I said, I'm honored, and to be honest, I was kind of reluctant, I was kind of insecure, I was not confident, and I felt like, man, can I do this? And and at that time, the AB case was kind of stagnant; it wasn't moving. And Dave kind of knew my reputation with the community, as far as the pit bull world in the UKC. I had established myself as a decent handler. I was winning. I was traveling from California to Florida and all over, just showing my dogs in the UKC. And I seen the movement come in. I seen the American bullies come into play. I was there in the inception, and and I really enjoyed it, and that was always been my desire, to create a dog that was a little bit more extreme. I've always loved dogs that had the extreme look about them, and in fact, I don't know what I did with the picture. I don't know where it's at right now, but I had a one of my football players, because I coached football at that time. I had one of my football players, which he was like 13 years old. I said, his name was, oh God, Chris Sharnick. And Chris Sharnick was he was just a humble kid, man, but he was a beautiful artist. And I told him, hey, listen, Chris, I need you to make me a t-shirt design of a bully. It wasn't a bully at that time; it was a pit bull. And I said, I got a picture of a dog. This is the dog I want you to use, but I want you to make it muscular and extreme. And this is way before the term of American Bully was even thought of and all stuff. And he designed this shirt for me, and if I can find the picture, I'm going to send it to you, and you'll be blown away. But it was a female that won the nationals, and it happened to be a dog that my mentor Patty Allen had. And I stepped in the show ring, to be honest with you, the first time, and I judged my show. And as crazy as it may seem, I felt like, man, this feels this is where I belong. This is where I should be. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those situations where you walk in and you're like, man, this is meant for me. You know what I'm saying? And I did the show, and it happened to be on the coast, literally on the ocean, on the beachfront in a park. But the thing was that when I did it, in my mindset, I still had pit bulls in my mind. So when I did the show, um, I had actually done a couple of phone shows prior to that, and when I did it, um, I came to the realization that these are not pit bulls. So before I stepped in the ring, I told myself, I literally stood up by myself in the corner away from everybody and said, Ron, these are American bullies. They're not pit bulls. And that was probably the first show that I came to, that realizing that this was a whole different breed. And I moved forward, and I never left. I stayed in there. I judged for many years. Again, like I said, I was one of the people that had a profound effect on the breed. And when I say this, I'm not saying like I know you've heard it many times from many people saying, I did this for the American Bully, I did that for the American Bully, and I will say that I was there since the inception, and I'm not gonna say I did this. No, I planted seeds, and it was grown from a community. Dave had asked me to be the director of judges, and this is way back in the inception. And I told Dave, I said, Dave, I'm honored.
What year do you think that was?
That was 2003, 2004.
Mm.
And he told me, Ron, you're going to be the guy. And I told him, I said, listen, Dave, I don't want to be the judge, executioner, and everything. I think we should have a senior judges board so we can, discuss and handle situations concerning the breed. And at that time he said, oh no, you can do it all by yourself. And I didn't want that, man. I could have been that guy. And if I were to rewrite history, say, okay, I was the, the judge, jury, and executioner, that would have been it. But I didn't want that. I felt, I've always been a person that wanted to be fair to everybody. So I said, I had told them we need to get a senior judges board together. And that's how come the whole concept of senior judges came about as far as the bully community, was because I had told them, and I brought in, 5 senior judges, that were all hand selected, handpicked to govern the community of the American Bully, and that was to make decisions on structure, grievances and everything. I didn't want to be that guy that says, it was all on Ron Ramos, because I didn't want people to think I was doing favoritism or that. I wanted to make this fair, and this is the first time this is ever being told on a podcast. That I had the opportunity to be that guy that ran the whole thing, and I felt that it was not a fair situation for anybody. I've always been a person that has wanted to be treated fairly, and I wanted to treat those people that came before me fairly. So I'm the one that actually put together again, this is one of the few things I will say. I did put together a senior staff to, to go over ethics, code of conducts, other things that had to be pertained to the registry. But again, I'm not going to be that guy who says, I'm sure you heard 1,000 times, oh, I wrote the standard for this, I did that. No, I planted seeds, and as a committee that I put together, we looked it over, and we decided, okay, let's tweak it here, let's adjust it there, until we got to the situation where I felt that it was a good fit for the community. Again, like I said, it was not, it had nothing to do with I did this. No, I planted seeds, And as a committee, we made this thing happen appropriately.
Wow, that's amazing. Just to be part of American Bully history when it comes to confirmation. Um, outside of confirmation, what were you doing with the breed outside of judging?
Well, you know, it, as far as outside the breed, so I wanted to breed dogs that would fit the confirmation. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to throw to the roadside the dogs that I had to get to the situation where I was in. So it took me a long time in comparison to a lot of breeders. For the fact of the matter is that I used the UKC, AKC stock that I had to develop my bully stock, and it's a long road because the terrier traits are very strong. So it took me a while to get to the dogs that I felt like I have today, that I feel that are quintessential to the American Bully breed. But I didn't want to take any shortcuts, and I didn't want to, purchase a dog from the outside. I've probably purchased, honest to God, truth, maybe 2 dogs uh, since since 1997. you know, you know, and it wasn't the fact that it was that was a two-part deal. The two-part deal was I couldn't afford to just go out and buy a bunch of dogs. Again, like I said, I've always been a man that that's lived on a budget. I wish I could say I was wealthy and I had a lot of money to do what I wanted to do. And the other thing was that I wanted to maintain the stuff that I started with and not give up the structure and go straight into some extreme crazy dogs. So it took me a long time to get to the point where I am today to have the dogs that are still, functional, well structured, and extreme. So it's one of the things where it took a long time, man. And and it was not just breeding to me. It was a passion because I'm not the type of guy that if the dog doesn't fit the program, I'm gonna place it out, or if a dog gets too old, or if it's not breeding no more, I'm going to give it away. No, my dogs stay here till death. So it was a long process, and I couldn't keep a lot of dogs. So my dogs that I had that helped me develop what I have today, they stayed with me, 12, 14 years until they passed away. And when that spot opened up, then I kept another dog. It was one of those things where I did not just, flip dogs because they didn't fit the program. My dogs are, I love my animals. The best way to put it is I love my dogs, man. I don't give a damn if it didn't fit the needs that I had, if it didn't work out, you know, uh, I just didn't throw it on the roadside or give it away, or they stayed with me till they died. And they all played a quintessential part in developing what I have today. I have a bunch of old dogs today. Right now, to this day, I have 12 dogs, and I'm lucky that 3 of them are actually. I have actually 2 females that are breeding stock and 3 amazing studs. Out of the 12 dogs, and I will not push a dog out just to bring something new in. And a lot of people think I'm crazy because it's so expensive, but to me, it's not just about the money. I'm saying? I'm so blessed right now that if I have a litter, I maybe have, honestly, maybe have 1 or 2 litters a year, but I make enough money off of that 1 litter to sustain the cost of feed and the veterinary costs. I'm not going out and buying new cars. I'm not buying TVs. I ain't got no Rolex. I take my money and I end up spending it right back into the dogs. And a lot of breeders look at me like, you must be stupid, because there's a lot of money out there, and there is, but the thing is, I'm more passionate and more in love with my animals than I am passionate and in love with money, you know. And I have a great support system behind me. My wife, my kids, they help me do what I do, and because they know that I'm passionate, they know that I love what I do, and so as far as what I'm doing now is, like I says, I feel like I'm finally getting to the place where I have some really amazing dogs, And again, many people don't even realize that I'm a breeder. They all look at me like Papa Pitt is a judge, and they don't realize that I do breed dogs, man.
Something that you were unable to avoid, isn't that correct?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't believe you breed dogs, but you got one of the baddest studs right now, man. Like you got this Pocket Rocket, man. Can you tell us about that boy and how he came about?
Well, everybody right now is looking at Soldier, and Soldier's amazing, man. He's on the short side of the pocket. He's 14 inches, and he's. I will free the first tell you he's not really a show dog. He's more a breeding tool. I couldn't put him in the show ring because that's just me. And the reason I say that, and most people will say, "Oh no, put him in the show ring," but being that being that I ain't Papa Pitt, people have high expectations of me. So it's very hard for me to put a dog in there that my personal opinion, that I feel is mediocre. People have really high expectations. So I got to make sure I put them in the ring it's high caliber. But even with that being said, I don't show anymore since I started judging because I didn't want people to think that there was any kind of favoritism or prejudice. So I didn't show dogs. You know what I'm saying? So I stepped away from the show ring so that way that people wouldn't think that there was favoritism or anything like that. So and I'm probably one of the few judges that actually did that, and I'm glad I did. I mean, I didn't want I'll give an example. I actually had a female that I tried to campaign after I was a senior judge. I was actually director of judges, and on the latter part of that, I had a female that was amazing, so I brought her to the show ring, and she was just destroying everything. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows Bistro. Bistro was at that time was a phenomenal dog, and this girl went head to head with him multiple times, and she actually won a best of breed over him several times. And I can remember one time where she was going against him, and the ring steward, and I'm not going to name the judge, but the judge was in the ring with the ring steward, and the ring steward, do you know who that dog is? And at that time, nobody knew my wife, and she was actually handling the dog. And she says, "Do you know who the woman is?" And the judge says, "No, I have no idea." And this was for Best in Show against Bistro, and the ring steward says, "Well, that's Ron Ramos's dog, Papa Pitt's female, and that's his wife." Well, with that being said, she lost to Bistro, and there's no shame losing to Bistro, because he was a phenomenal dog. But afterwards, at the end of that show, the judge came to me and says, "Ron, I'm going to apologize." I said, "Why do you want to apologize to me for?" I was going to give your girl the win, but when I found out it was your dog, I kind of panicked and I gave it to Bistro, and it was not an uncommon thing because they didn't want to be accused of doing favoritism, and that's why nobody actually knew the girl was mine. And I wouldn't even go to shows because I didn't want my face to be around when the dog was winning because I didn't want to put pressure on the judges. And so for those people that think that judges have it easy, it's not true. It's more difficult than you think because, like I said, it was just hard, man. And those people that are doing it, in some cases, there is favoritism. I'm not gonna lie. There is politics, and for me to say that it doesn't exist is being foolish, and because it does exist, man. I'm saying.
So what do you tell the people who know there's politics and they can't figure out a way around it? What message do you have to those people? Because there's a lot of them.
Oh, there's a ton of them, and I think
I'm gonna go get a charger real quick.
Go ahead. I mean, there's a ton of them right now. And there's a lot of discontent and heartbreak in the show world right now because I think what happens is that people don't realize, and so even for judges, I think sometimes judges think that they'll never notice it, and judges aren't blind. They're not stupid. They not judges. I should say the community. The community is not blind and stupid. they see what's going on. And I think sometimes judges are the ones that are foolish because they think nobody knows that they're doing this, and it happens. You know what I'm saying? And I think right now that's what's happening throughout the show community is people are getting disheartened because they're seeing all the politics going on. And I refuse to be a part of that, man. You get your charger?
Man, I can't find my charger.
Welcome to the club. I had to run around the house right now trying to find mine. I can't see the comments, or else I would try to help you out with the comments.
I'm sorry. I apologize, man.
No.
I'm not trying to let this laptop die.
You find your charger?
Man, for my charger for this laptop has been acting super funny, and I'm hoping this works out. The charger for my phone. But hey, it is what it is. We're gonna try to make it work.
There you go.
So
to that question,
I'm sorry.
To that question, I will say, don't give up hope, you guys. It's inevitable. I wish I could say that there's no politics, there's no favoritism, but that's not being realistic. That kind of stuff happens. It's just one of the things where you pray and hope that these judges come through for you and they do the appropriate thing. Because it does happen. I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen because I would be a fool to say that something like that doesn't happen. And we all know that it happens. You know what I'm saying? There was a dog, and I'm not going to mention names again. There was a dog that at one time had the record for like the most best in shows. And the ironic thing about that dog was that he had like half of his wins were under a judge that was best friends with the guy with the dog. They did shows together, and all of a sudden this dog was like the number one dog in the nation. He won. Half of his best in shows were under the same judge. They hosted shows together. They did all this stuff, and these guys thought like nobody would see this, and it's like, are you serious? These people aren't stupid. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, it's one of those things where people see this. They're not dumb. They're not blind and stupid. You know what I'm saying? So. And I think that's part of my longevity of being a judge is that I've always been, a fair and earnest judge. I will never do anybody any favors. I don't owe anybody anything. My name, my respect and integrity are the world to me. I would not sell that out for anybody. I would not do it for a friend. And not only that, but a friend shouldn't expect that of me. If you're a real friend, you're not going to expect me to, to do something that's going to jeopardize my reputation. That's just uncalled for, man.
And it's just it's really something petty. It's not.
Yeah,
look at that.
I gotta show you this guy right here. He's only 5 weeks old. And I have a hard time holding this guy because he's a chunk, man. I know he's 5 weeks old. And I'm super excited about this guy, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a freak, man. I mean, the little guy's got bone and size and head, and he's coming back to some of the stuff I've been doing for a lot of years, and he's finally got him where I'm at now.
He's amazing.
He's beautiful, man. He's a gorgeous little guy. It's kind of hard to see. Like I says, I don't know if you can see this guy and get the guy of his size.
Hold on, let me give you a. Hold on. Keep them in your hands real quick. I'm gonna give you a solo layout. Yeah, there you go.
Right there. 5 weeks old. I trying to.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 5 weeks old today. We gave him shots to make sure he's okay. The litter's really super nice. He's a hog, man. And so Oh, let me put him back down here.
If anybody in the comments has any questions for Mr. Ramos, please type it down and I'll get at you.
Here's a little female of that litter. Again, 5 weeks old. I'm really happy with these guys, man.
So how many pups do you have right now?
I only have one litter a year, man. I don't do a lot of breeding. You know, I have 5 puppies right now, and as ironic as it may sound, they're all sold with the exception of one male, and there's only 2 males. And the reason he hasn't been sold is because I'm having a hard time deciding which male I'm going to keep, which is actually a good thing. You know, a lot of times you get a puppy litter of puppies. Say, well, I'm going to keep this puppy. You know, I'm to the point now where these puppies here that I'm having a real hard time deciding which one I'm going to keep. And it's ironic because I have 3 females, and they're all going to homes that are paying a substantial price, but yet I'm getting a puppy out of each one of those girls that are leaving. But even at that, I don't know which one to keep because I like them all. They're so nice. I'm saying it's just it's a good problem to have.
It is definitely a good problem to have. Where do you think the state of the American bully is right now? I know you was expecting that question at some point.
Man, I think there's I think they're heading in the right direction, man. You think, but what I honestly think though is there's a lot of people with a misconception of the American bully, and when I say this, I mean when the American bully was first birthed, when it gave birth to the concept of the American bully, it was supposed to be an extreme dog, and what happened is when you start becoming competitive, people start to look at things differently. And I forewarned the registry that this was going to happen because I came from the AKC, UKC, so I seen it, and what had happened is that people start getting confused and they start thinking that the whole thing is based on structure. And when I say this, you have to understand that structure is quintessential. It is very important. But what trumps structure is breed type. And when I say breed type, this is where you separate yourself from the pit bull. And there's 2 pit bulls. People don't realize this. There's 2 pit bulls. One is the ABBA style pit bull, which is real racy and gamey. And there's a UKC pit bull, which is more substance, more closer cousin to the American bully. And then you have the Amstaff, and the Amstaff is also in that race with those 3 breeds. So what happened is that people started getting structure over the breed type, and it's one of those things where it's a fine line, and sometimes people don't understand that breed type is a mystery. It's one of those things where it takes years to understand what I'm trying to tell you right now on breed type, and they started looking at structure that over everything else. And I've said this in many podcasts. There's a article that was written years ago, and I believe it was by Beauchamp, and I had the privilege of showing dogs under Beauchamp, Richard Beauchamp. And he was a very well-known UKC pit bull judge. And there was an article that came out, was called Judge's Rule of 5. And I cannot tell people enough to search this article out and read it. And when you read it, it's a real short article. Don't read it once. Don't read it 3 times. Read it 10 times. And when I say this, because every time you read this article, you're going to gain knowledge from it. Because it gives you the understanding of breed type. And breed type is not only the silhouette of a dog, because that is the quintessential of looking at a dog. You should be able to look at a dog, a black and white silhouette, and determine what the dog is. So if I were to put just a black and white picture of multiple dogs, and you were to see these dogs, you would understand what I'm talking about. If I were to put a Chihuahua silhouette, you would recognize it immediately over a French bulldog. This is what I'm talking about, silhouettes. So it's very important that you understand that. So if you don't do that, you start to lose the whole concept. And what the judge's rule of five shows is you can go down to the dog pound and pick up the dog a structure, and he'll have the better turn stifle, he'll have this, but he's not going to be an American bully. He's not going to be he's not going to be an Eskimo, an Esky. He's not going to be a Doberman. You know what I'm saying? So they'll have the structure, but it's not that dog. And so it's one of the things where you have to have the breed type over everything else, because you will never separate yourself from being anything else. And I can tell you this right now. I was around in the UKC like way back in 1997, the early 90s, and there was a breeder by the name of Pam Carter, which had Gaff Kennels. And Gaff Kennels had some amazing dogs. And it's so ironic that her dogs were she had a dog named Bacala. Bacala was 92 pounds, and I'm talking about an amazingly beautiful dog, man. And the written standard for the UKC at that time was, I think it was, what was it? I want to say 86 pounds, 18 inches. That was in the written standard. I could be wrong. Somebody could look it up in the UKC written standard. And these dogs were 20, 21 inches, 92 pounds. And they were just impressive, man. You know what I'm saying? And those dogs at that time looked like the American bullies today in the show ring, that you go to the ABKC or the BRC, you see those dogs in there right now. And they remind me, believe it or not, of the pit bulls of the 1997 and that era. These dogs are not they're not an anomaly. In fact, they look like pit bulls of the old. And the inception of the old ideal of an extreme bully, is kind of lost. And a lot of people don't understand it because they weren't there to witness it. I was there. I seen this with my own eyes, so when I seen this stuff, it's one of those things where it's very similar. So, so when people start crying about, the judges are picking dogs that are, overdone. And no, that was the whole principle of the whole concept, the ideal of the American bully, and so it's because they weren't there to witness the inception of the whole breed. And that's the article. That article there right there, man, I swear to God, that's I love the article. That article goes into talking about the Chihuahua, even the way he walks and the way he, turns a little circle in the show ring, whatever it may be. It's one of the things where I really love the article. I can tell you right now, Joel, when you first started getting into show dogs and you started learning about show dogs, even the mutt that was from the liquor store wasn't safe from your critique after that. You know what I'm saying? You see a mutt in the street and say, oh shit, look at the turn of the stifle on that dog. That dog was a mutt, man. You know what I'm saying? You tell me if I'm lying, brother.
Pudge, get out of here. Get out.
So tell me I'm lying. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're not lying.
Once you start showing dogs, man, no mutt is safe on the planet from your eyes of being a judge or critiquing them. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
right.
Look at the way that dog moves. And you don't even know what kind of breed he is, man. He's just in front of the liquor store laying around them looking for a handout. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens. That's what happens to you. And the same thing applies to people. When they start showing dogs, they lose the whole concept of what the breed's supposed to be, and they start focusing so much on structure that they lose breed type. And this is where that article that you just posted up talks about that. And I will give you one of my examples.
So it doesn't go over anybody's head. It's called The Rule of Fives with the S on it.
Yes, it's an amazing article, man. I'm telling you, man, find that article, read it again. And when you finish reading it that third time, read it 6 more times, because it really, I think it's an amazing article, man. And it was, and you could see, Joel, the article was, look at the pictures in that article, man.
I'll bring it up again.
I mean, what do the pictures look like? 1930s, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how far back this article goes, man. But it was just one of those things where it just really struck a chord with me that, man, what they're saying in that article really speaks volumes. Because it even says in the article that, if you want structure, you can go down to the dog pound and pick a dog out that has beautiful structure, but that's not going to make it an American bully. I'll give you one of my examples when I was training judges, and I trained many judges. At one point in time, I trained probably 95% of judges globally. I trained a lot of judges across the globe, when I was traveling. And it was one of the things where sometimes it was hard for these guys to understand, breed type over structure. And one of my examples that I would give to them is, I would say, what if I took a Doberman Pinscher, did not cut his ears, and I took him into the Rottweiler ring? And if you think about that, what's the difference between a Rottweiler and a Doberman? Other than mass and substance. Yeah. They both have the little, the little dot across the eye, yeah. The 2 markings on the chest. They're identical. But guess what? If I were to take that Doberman to the show ring against Rottweilers, he's going to have an amazing top line. He's going to have super turn of the stifle. He's going to glide in the ring like a freaking feather. No comparison to the Doberman. To the Rottweiler. But guess what? He's not a Rottweiler. He does not have the head size. He does not have the substance. He doesn't have that roll when he walks and he moves. So is he going to look much more appealing to the eye as far as like agility and structure? Yeah, he's going to look amazing, but he's not a Rottweiler. So it's one of those. This is just one example that I try to teach people. And a lot of people say, well, it's supposed to be structured. No, it's not supposed to be structured. Don't get me wrong. When I say it's not supposed to be, no, structure is quintessential, but it doesn't equate to being an American bully. This is what deviates the American bully from a pit bull of the 90s or a pit bull of the game style dogs. I'm saying, so it's one of the things where it's important to understand that, so you don't get lost in the breed. It's one of those things where it's kind of hard. Like I said, there's actually, I think there's a book called The Mystery of Breed Type.
I have it.
You know what I'm saying? So why would they call it a mystery? Because it's not that easy to understand.
It's not, and everybody thinks they have it, but they don't.
Oh man, you speak in volumes, brother. Everybody thinks that they got it, man, and it's not. It's not that easy. You can get, the way I like to tell people, even breed standards. When we read breed standards, I tell people all the time, when you read a breed standard, it's like me and you, bro. If we read a verse from the Bible and we try, okay, now after we read the same verse, give your interpretation. Guess what's going to happen, man? We're both going to have 2 different understandings and interpretations of what we read. Period. We could read the same sentence and we're going to give you a different interpretation.
Excuse me, Big Noriega, these dogs do not look anything like bulldogs, man. Do you know anything about a layback? American bullies don't have one. That's number one.
Well, I don't see the comments, so you have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up right here. Well, let me out of respect, let me go to this. I didn't want to come out of your frame of thought. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're fine
right now. We have our first question is from Ace 900. He says, "How do you get into being a judge? What steps that need to be done?"
To be a judge is not as simple as it may sound. I again, I don't want to say I did it alone, but I wrote the initial requirements to become a judge in the ABKC. I wrote down all the requirements, and I didn't reinvent the wheel. What I did is I went out and researched the AKC, the UKC, and I combined the information I got from there to write the criteria to become a judge.
You put
And
some vogues and white walls on it. That's what happened.
That's what it is, man. And then from there, I submitted it to the committee that I had got together, the group of senior judges, and we reviewed it and we tweaked it. But the inception to become a judge, it was a minimum of 5 years. I think it was 5. Yeah, 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 years of in the breed. You would have to have had 5 champions. Out of the 5 champions, one had to be a bred by. So that you people that understand what bred by means is you could have handled 4 dogs that belonged to somebody else, but then you had to have a dog that you actually bred from birth and took into the show ring to become a champion. This way you understood what it took to raise and create a dog to become a champion. So that was part of the criteria. The other thing was you had to pass a test to understand, the anatomy of a dog. You had to understand where a stop was at, a croup, a crest, a loin, a tuck, the chest, the drop of the chest. These are all terms that you had to understand, and you had to have the experience and knowledge of how to run a show ring. So you had to have shown dogs and bred dogs in order to become a judge. So it was just not some, in the early days, it was, I tell you what, in the early days of the American Bully, I was there. In the early days, it was the males in one ring and the females in the other ring. There was no separation of age. There was no separation of pockets. There was no separation of classes. It was just females and males. And when it started taking off, I had told the owner of the registry that when you start making this competitive, people are going to have higher expectations of you. So this is where you have to start now getting judges that meet certain criteria, and you have to start breaking them down into different classes. And this is the honest to God truth, man. I'm not making this stuff up. I have nothing to gain from this, and this is how the whole thing started. And sure enough, it took off, and the people had higher and higher expectations of judges. In the early days, it was just a barbecue, and they say, hey, guess what, man? Hey, hey, you want to be a judge? Everybody knows who you are. They respect you, and you were the judge that day. What I mean? So it has changed immensely, and the knowledge and criteria that is required of judges today is come a long ways. And when I left the registry, some of these registries, they abandoned the requirements, and some of the judges that are in there today didn't meet the requirements of having,
Trust me, a lot of us noticed.
I didn't want to say this, and I'll say this on your show, of all shows. I've never said this, but the thing is, they abandoned some of these requirements, and
they lowered the standards a bit.
That's what happened, and it shows. I hate to say this, it shows.
Can I address this real quick, Mr. Ramos?
Yeah,
right,
go ahead.
So this is Big Noriega. Respectfully, I mean, I don't want to. This is all about education on this. This is not a pissing contest, or
not at all.
No, man. So he says I'm crazy as hell. I've been told that, but I was born around English bulldogs, and this breed is turning just like another bulldog breed. You know what? This is asinine to me, because people say that, right? But where's your proof that this is turning into another bulldog breed? Can you address that, Mr. Ramos?
I would love to address that.
Mm-hmm.
Truth be told, the pit bull and the American Bully are actually descendants of bulldogs. So to say that they're not bulldogs is not going to be truthful. To say that there are bulldogs in them, it is truthful. That's a truthful statement. But to say that they're American bulldog, or that they're bulldog, is far from the truth. Because if you were to get let's say you were to get an oldie bulldog, an American bulldog, and you were to stack them against an American bulldog, an American bully, there's no resemblance. It's the point
I don't
where
see any resemblance at all with a bulldog. If you put an American bully up to a bulldog, I don't see any resemblance.
There's no resemblance. But what's happening is these people are getting confused with the exotic breed. And the exotic breeds they're being called American bullies when they're not American. They're their own separate breed, and they need to be recognized as their own separate breed, and they want to be recognized as their own separate breed.
Now we're
So,
talking to an intellectual, educated person on breeds of dogs. He's not ignorant. He knows what he's talking about. But I just think people's personal opinions and reality are different.
well, there's people going to have their own concepts, and and here's the thing, man. I'm not here to sway anybody, man. I will never do that. I'm sure you've seen many people. You call it you can hold a sheet of paper that's black, and they're going to call it white. So it's one of those things. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. But to say that there's no bulldog in it is also not true. There is some kind. In order to get these dogs to get the look they look like, there had to be something introduced and to get those traits. And I'm going to give you a prime example. And this is just, and I'm not a racist person. And when I say this, and the reason I say this is because I'm going to use my own culture. I'm a Mexican. Okay. If I were to get two Mexican people and try to produce a Chinese kid, it ain't going to happen, man. You know what I'm saying? In other words, you have to introduce those traits. So in order to get the American bully, in order to get the shorter muzzle, the shorter length of leg, the heavier bone, yes, another breed had to be introduced. Was it an American bulldog or an English bulldog? I'm sure that there had to be some kind of a introduction of those traits to get the look that we get today. But that does not say they look like an English bulldog. And that's honest to God truth. That's silly. And again, I think he's equating that to the exotic breed. And this is where it happens when you start getting all these breeds. They start looking at everything as an American bully. Everybody looks at, like, for example, they look at the exotics. They call them exotics, but a lot of people that are not knowledgeable of breeds think they all fall under the same umbrella. And they're not. They're different dogs. And this is why I got to give respect to the exotic community, because they want to separate themselves. And the same thing happened when they developed the American bully. We wanted to separate ourselves from the pit bull terrier. And when I say the pit bull terrier, I'm referring to the UKC pit bull, not the ABBA pit bull.
Right.
Because there's a huge difference in those two dogs in themselves. So to say that these dogs are, they're just becoming a bulldog breed, that means he doesn't understand the concept of the exotic breed. That's the exotic you're looking at. That's not the American bully you're looking at.
Let's stay on the American bully, and let's entertain that he is speaking about America. Because I speak on American bullies on this channel. Yes, we do speak on all different breeds, but this is the breed that I know and love, and me basically speaking on a whole nother breed it's kind of would be ignorant for me. But
well, you're gonna have people that gonna.
You said the American bullies you can't win like with a lot of people.
No. It's like I told you before. You can hold a sheet of paper and it's black, and they're gonna say it's white.
And Big Noriega is one of those people. I put the link down there. You can join us if you want, Big Dog. But so the American bully, I know it has bulldog or whatever type of bulldog or Amstaff. Well, I know it has all kind of stuff to make this breed, but why do people act like it's just started with the American bully mixing different dogs to create one breed of dog? I mean, it's every dog in existence that is a breed right now had to have different dogs mixed into that equation, but that doesn't mean it's that dog. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're on point. I'll give you an example. You want to hear a crazy example? The Doberman Pinscher. The Doberman Pinscher has Dalmatian in it. Do you see any Dalmatian in that dog? Zero. You're saying so, and this is not me just saying this. Go look it up. Go see how Louis Doberman made the dog. And the American bully. At one time it was introduced those traits, but it is not an exotic and it's not a bulldog. So to say that, it shows your lack of understanding of what's going on. And I will be the first to tell you, I've been doing this. I've been doing this since 1983. I can honestly say, without even knowing this person, I don't think he was even around at that time when I was doing this stuff. I'm saying, so and I'm not trying to down the guy. Believe it or not, he has
Mhm.
I respect his right to believe what he wants to believe in his own opinion. But the thing is, though, if you go to a show ring and you go to an ABKC show, you're going to see the difference in those dogs. So some of those things are, um, yeah, it was probably introduced somewhere, but they're nowhere near being an exotic. And there's a different breed altogether in itself. So I'm not going to sit here and debate with a person that that I don't know him. First of all, I don't know what his history is behind the dog. So I'm not going to sit here and
But you are confident in your stance in saying that is not that's not true, because I think a lot of people who speak like that have an agenda. They have some kind of agenda behind their points. So I don't know if somebody that got out of the American Bullies that didn't like the direction that they were going towards. A lot of that happens where there's a lot of people who don't agree with. There was people who didn't agree with the direction of Frenchie was going 100 years ago and said, you know what, I don't like this, man, and I'm gonna just go my own way. You know what I'm saying? So it's
you speak volumes, because everyone else, it's like the pit bull. I don't think people really in the community today truly know how old the pit bull is. The pit bull has got to be, and I'm taking a rough guess, and I'm gonna go with a low number, but it's got to be 135 years old. And if you looked at the first dogs, the Colby dogs that first came in, so that there was so much inconsistency and so much difference in look that today's pit bull doesn't even look like the Colby dogs. And the same thing with the same thing with the French bulldogs. Some of the French bulldogs of past look more like a Boston Terrier versus versus a Frenchie of today. So it's a process of evolution. And again, like I says, were these dogs introduced? Yeah, they were. I'd be a fool not to say they weren't. But have they
Big
developed their own?
Sorry, Big Noriega, I respect your opinion. I respect your views. I just don't agree with it.
I don't
So,
agree
I
with
mean,
either. So
I
it is what
definitely,
it is.
it's all. I'm coming here from love, man. I'm not just trying to disrespect you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to slight you, but just like you love this breed, I love this breed too. And I feel like I'm a vanguard as well. And if somebody speaks off about the breed, it's my job to say no, that's wrong. I feel that show me that Blue looks like a bulldog.
There you go.
Please put and not just facing frontwards. You have to face these dogs sideways, and that's when you lose. You know what I'm saying? When you profile picture these dogs, that's when you basically lose your argument. That these dogs look like bulldogs, man. But you've been in a bulldog all your life. So
Yeah, well, it's like zero. It's zero, or some of the other dogs. Whether it be Apollo from Spain, Zero, or Tasco from Mexico. These dogs do not look like bulldogs. I got bad news for you. These are like top quality dogs. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you could say that all you want, but there is no comparison. If you were to walk those two dogs together into a pet store, somebody's going to tell you, hey, what kind of dog is that? What kind is the other? They're not going to say, oh, those are twins. There's no way in hell that's going to happen. But again, you're entitled to your opinion, and because I'm not here to debate that, I'm here to move forward, and let's take this into the direction we want to go. This conversation.
Sir. So, where do you see? All right, let me get into this. Right, I'm gonna segue into this. This breed is not that old.
Oh, it's not. People get tired of me saying this, but it's in its infancy. Again, I refer back to the pit bull, which is over 135 years old. And even them. When I give an example, back in 2004, when the American Bully started the registry, it took a couple of years before it was really truly looked at as a separate breed, and that speaks volumes in itself. As far as comparing it to the English Bulldog or that. So when they became established to be recognized as their separate breed, it literally put the UKC on point. And they went back to their own standard. And everybody says, oh, the ABKC rewrote the standard. No, they did not rewrite the standard. What they did is they amended it. They tightened the parameters. In other words, they took away some of the faults that were allowed, and they made them more stringent and stricter. So with that being said, when this happened, the UKC tightened their standards. They said, anything that looks extreme is not a pit bull, and they're the ones that actually amended their standard because too many people were looking at it as an American bully, and they were so afraid because they started coming out so strong that they the ones that amended it and say, anything that is extreme is not a pit bull. And I respect them for that. They want to separate themselves, just like the American bully wants to separate themselves, just like the exotic want to separate. And I respect that. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And it's a good thing for the breeds.
So yeah, definitely, because everybody likes their American bully to be confused with a pit bull. So I mean, like, no, let's keep everything the same, right? Where's the progression? There is none if you do that. There's no pushing the envelope when doing that. And I think every breed has done that. They push the envelope to separate themselves from whatever dog that dog was related to or a close cousin to.
And again, you make a valid point because some people don't. If we wanted to come down to brass tacks, every dog came from the wolf. From the Neanderthal type dog, or the Malinois, the Malinois, which is basically, every kind of a Mastiff dog came from a descendant of the Mastiff breed. So it's one of the things where you can call whatever you want, but they separated themselves and they eventually became different breeds. So it is what it is. Like I said, there's going to be people that are that you'll never convince, man.
Right. All right. So when you're looking for a stud, right? So what's your advice for people that are looking for a stud? What should be their precursor when they are looking for that? When they're looking for a stud?
Oh man, that's a broad spectrum right there, man. That's let's say they have the blood down. That's a wash. They have that's a line breeding. Where else would they go when the blood lines up? What would you say for them to look at? Would you say for them to look at the stud's litter mates? Would you say look at what the stud's producing, or all of the above? It's going to be all of the above. And the reason I say this is that you may have the bloodline, right? And so many people will swear by bloodlines, the pedigree. But the thing is, I've seen it 1,000 times where, somebody will say, my dog is, 10 times Bubba Boa and 8 times Judy Johnson. You know what I'm saying? And so he's got to be this, right? But my answer to that is that, was it the best dogs out of those two lines? Was it these dogs came out of every single dog out of those 10 times and 8 times, were they all the quintessential dog of that line? So it's one of those things where if it's a 10 times piece of shit times 8 times piece of shit, it's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? So it's one of the things you didn't get the quintessential, you didn't get the cream of the crop off those dogs. You may have been getting dogs that were like subpar to that line. And so when you're selecting the stud dog, you have to look at many factors. The factors being that, what are you lacking in the breed in your own yard? What do you want to add? What do you want to change? So for me to say it's a black and white answer, there's so many variables involved to make the decision on which dog you want to use. I've always been the type of person that, from day one, when I first got into the American Bully, I've always enjoyed doing extreme to clean. That's a phrase or a term that I pretty much, it's been a pop-up hit saying that, extreme to clean. And I like going that way because I've gotten some really great results with it. I like a real clean bitch to a real extreme male. And I got a dog right here that his name is Maki. His name is Double Shot Macchiato. And the dog is amazing, man. And I took him to a very terrier type dog that had a lot of bully blood behind her. And I took her to an extreme dog. And I got this dog named Maki. And Maki will blow your mind as far as structure. He's a standard sized dog. He is beautiful. And I never take him to show ring. and I got video of this guy, a year old, walking right into a free stack. And I'll send it to you, Joel. That way you can see the dog. But I mean, the dog is amazing, man. And I will show you the parents. And when you see the parents, there's no way this dog came out of those parents. I've never been a guy that's been a paper breeder. I like breeding the Gino Fino. I like looking at the appearance of the dog, and I like doing that route. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of value in line breeding. But if you're line breeding two dogs that are not the optimal quality of a dog, the paper means nothing to me.
It's a waste of breeding.
It is. There's a saying I seen a long time ago, and it says, "Give me 1 inch of dog over a mile of paper," and it's one of those things that people never heard before, probably until today. Until I said it right
Al, he hit us with another one because Al just said that piece of shit analogy was epic. Yo, he just topped that one.
Yeah, so you honestly think about it. And when I read that statement years ago, I was like, wow. Give me 1 inch of dog over a mile of paper. And when they're talking about a mile of paper, they're talking about pedigree. And I'm not saying pedigrees are not bad. Pedigrees are a essential tool to breeding proper dogs. But then you guys have to understand, it's a tool. It's a way of tracing the lineage, and you're hoping that paperwork is on point. And at best, as breeders, I will say this till the day I have my last breath. Breeding, and using all the tools available, pedigrees, Geno, Pheno, everything, right? At best is an educated guess. We are not God, man. We try to put these together and we're getting a educated guess. We this dog looks like this. This was in the pedigree. We put them together. This is how it should. This is what the outcome should be. But at the end of the day, it's up to the dear Lord above, whether you believe in God or some other, entity that's, higher power. Mm-hmm. It's up to them. But we try to play God and put these tools together to get what we want. And some of us are more successful than others, and the American Bully is a little more tougher. And the reason I say that is because it's a new breed. Now, if I were to take two Amstaffs and I breed two Amstaffs together, you're going to get an Amstaff. There's no guesswork, and you may perfect the breed ever so slightly. But the thing is, it's not like the American Bully, being that it's a new breed and there's still a lot of deviation in the look of the animal. So it's very hard to get a super consistent look right now. That's why we get a lot of deviation in the look. And this is where the show ring comes into play, and hoping that these people will help breeders understand what the look of the dog should be. So, it's I wish it was a simple formulation. You just, pull out your little glue stick and stick this piece onto there and stick it onto there, and you got the perfect dog. But it's not that way at all. Easy. Yeah, it's not that easy, man.
I'd have a national winner already right now. But so how do you go about picking your first pick pup for your own yard, female or male?
Oh man, that's another great question, and it's one of those questions where, I'll be the first to tell you, when I first started doing this, I didn't know what I was looking at, and what I mean by I didn't know what I was looking at, no, I understand I was looking at pit bulls at the time, but I really didn't know what I was looking at. And what I mean by that is that you have to develop an eye. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things, you can look at dogs all day long, you know what I'm saying? But if you don't really focus on what you're trying to, achieve and what you're after, you have to look at a lot of dogs to develop an eye to understand what the puppy is you're hoping what the puppy will turn out to be when he's fully matured. They change so much, and it's one of those things where, one dog may look bully today, and when he grows up, he's a racy game dog. And you get a skinny ass puppy and he grows up to be an extreme bully. It's the breed is so new that it isn't a cookie cutter dog yet. When I start looking at dogs for my own personal stuff, I try to keep structure in the equation, but I also try to keep the fact that he's supposed to look like an American Bully at the end of the day. So if I deviate too far to the structure side, I lose the bully side. So I try to find a happy medium. I try to find that dog that, he's got all the bone, he's got all the substance, he's got the headpiece that I want, but I don't throw out structure with a wash, you don't throw out the old saying, you don't throw the baby out with a wash. It's one of those things where it's a fine line. Everything is, I wish I could tell you do this and this and this. It takes years to study and watch and look at puppies. Developing an eye is quintessential, even for judges. This is why you have to have judges have to meet so many years of experience, and they have to develop. That they have to actually breed a puppy to become, to see if it's a champion. This is all in development of having the eye to see what you're looking at. There's actually there's a video, and it's had nothing to do with American Bullies, but it is a video called The Puppy Puzzle. The Puppy Puzzle was developed by the Hastings, as Pat Hastings developed this criteria on how to evaluate AMP staffs. And I learned so much from this video, because it didn't tell me about American Bullies, but it gave me an idea of what to look for in puppies. It told me what to look for as far as, head shapes, feet, rear assemblies, front assemblies. It was actually a pretty amazing video. And you could, like I said, I think you can find it on YouTube, but they sell it.
They have a book as well.
Yes, it's amazing. The Puppy Puzzle it's one of those things that it's a hidden gem that a lot of people don't know about. And again, it only is for one particular breed, but the basics and fundamentals of understanding puppy structure and dogs is there for you. And now it's up to you to take it that extra step further to see what an American Bully puppy looks like. So I mean, these are just little gems that I found that I think that were helpful to me in developing what I learned today and how to develop an eye to what I was looking at. You know what I'm saying? So again, Pat Hastings, and I can't remember her husband. I think it was this husband and wife team. I actually got a dog that was actually evaluated by them, and they said the dog wasn't going to win the show ring because he was, at that time, he was a Duluth, and the Duluth being a blue fawn in the Amstaff world was not like a real desirable color. But I took the dog, and he kicked ass, man. It was one of my first dogs, and I just admired, and he taught me a lot of things. And this is where people, again, I got to go back to saying the dogs will teach you. Everything they're teaching a dog something. Trust me, you may not realize it, but that dog teaching you something too, man. So it's one of the things where it takes a long time, to develop an eye to understand. This is why I tell people when they tell me, how do you pick a puppy? What's a piece of advice? My advice is look at as many litters as possible, and look at their parents and their grandparents. That way you start to understand what you're looking at. Because sometimes you may look at a puppy and he may be like, oh my God, look at this puppy. But guess what? He may be the anomaly. He's the freak of the entire lineage of that dog. And everything behind him is a freaking game dog. And this guy turned out to be a freak, and he looks like a rhinoceros. So it's one of those things where you want to see rhinoceroses through the entire lineage of the dog. You don't want to see just him and everything behind him is a stick figure. So it's one of the things where it takes a lot of time, man. I wish I could tell you that it was just that easy, but it's not.
We have a wonderful question from Poe Family Bullies. Mr. Ramos, can you tell us what the stud books being open means for the breed, how it affects the breed, and what will it look like when they are closed?
Well, first of all, the stud books aren't open. When they mean by open stud books, that means that they're allowing F1s to come into the registry. There's these dogs that are truly mixed breed. And in my honest opinion, if they would have been honest since the inception of the American Bully, I think it would be more consistent and further along in its development. So right now, the books have been closed, and they've been kind of like, having a closed eye to dogs that were truly mixed breed. So some things that if they would have been honest about it, I think they would have been further along. And then after so many years, you close the stud books. So when you say you have open stud books, that means you're open to single registered dogs. In other words, dogs that don't have traceable lineage. So it's one of those things where, again, these are great questions, but they're very complicated, I wish it was just a cut and dry answer. I wish it was black and white, but it's not. It's one of the things where if they were truly open the books and they were doing it, showing people what they did to develop the dog. And this is why in the very beginning there was a lot of inconsistency in breedings, because nobody knew what was on the pedigree. The pedigrees were a mystery. I had a breeder tell me when I first got into the American Bully, he told me, to get a great American Bully run, you got to know where the bulldog was in the pedigree. And that may sound kind of corny and crazy, but if you really think about it, he's trying to tell you, the closer you breed to that true F1, the more you're gonna get that bullier look on the dog. Because I will tell you this right now, everybody says it was selective breeding. I can tell you right now, if I were to get 2 ADBA game dogs and breed them for the next 20 years, I'll be damned if I get an American Bully. You know what I mean? Unless those traits were introduced somewhere, you're not going to get that size. Because you're looking at two dogs that are very racy, very athletic, very gamey, and it'd be a snowball's chance in hell to get an American Bully out of that in 20 years, unless you add those traits.
Right. So I mean, we got Big Noriega, Big Knowledge Noriega, I should call him. He says the stud books are still open, just to the masses.
They're not open to the masses. They're not. Now, are there individuals that can sneak in? Yes, there are. I will be the first to tell you they are. You know, and to say that they're not, that it's open is not true. You do a bunch of F1 readings and go tell Dave, hey, Dave, I want to let these into the ABKC. He's gonna throw you out the door, man. So with that being said, yeah, are there the guys that are sneaking shit in? Yeah, obviously, man. I'd be a fool to say that it didn't happen. So are they open officially? No, they're not open officially.
Awesome. So before we wrap this up, man, please let everybody know what social media platforms you are on, the name on the social medias, what you got going on as far as like breeding and judging events that you have in the future.
Well, first of all, Joel, I want to thank you so much. For allowing me to come on your show. I'm honored to be a part of it. I've witnessed you come from a long ways, man. Like I remember you as a first-time participant in the show ring, and you have matured and grown into something very special for our community. And I don't think people understand that when you come and you do your platform here, it's not something that you did overnight. You grew yourself, man. You educated yourself. You did a lot of great things to be where you're at today. So for that, I commend you, and I thank you for allowing me to be a part of this cast. As far as the American Bully and so that, I have high hopes for it. I think it's an amazing breed. I think it's going in the right direction. We're going to have these situations where, everything, goes off course every once in a while. But, hopefully there's good breeders out there that understand and try to strive for excellence and to maintain, to be stewards of the breed. It's so important to be a steward. We can sit here and we can have you always hear the old saying, well, it's my vision. No, it's not your vision. There's a written standard. This has nothing to do with your personal preference or vision. This has to do with written standards. So it's so important to be a steward of the breeds and understand what you're doing. I think that the American Bully has a beautiful future. I think it's going to be a dog. It's going to be for the lifetime of the world. If you really think about the American Bully, it started in 2004 when it was officially recognized, and it's been a rocket ship. I mean, there has been no other breed on the planet that has accelerated to the following and the numbers that it is today in comparison to any other breed in history of the canine. You really think about it. There's never been another dog that has gained so much popularity in such a short time. So, and again, being that it is so popular and there's so many people into it, it actually is detrimental because everybody has their own concept of what the breed should look like, and this is kind of a thorn in your foot because some of the earlier breeds, the different breeds of dogs, it was a small following, and they were really, honest to God, they were tight belt about how they bred dogs, how they develop them. And this leads me to a person that I'm going to mention is Jamie Stewart. Jamie Stewart developed the Shorty Bull. Jamie Sweet, I'm sorry, Jamie Sweet. She developed the Shorty Bull, and she had a real tight rein on how the dogs are bred, and that's why the Shorty Bulls that come out of her yard are so consistent. And this is a developmental breed, but yet she has done such an amazing job of controlling how the dog was bred that it has a pretty damn good um, look about it. It's very consistent. And this is where you look at the American Bully. It's a little bit of a variation because there are so many people breeding this dog with so many people saying that this is my vision, and they're not following the written standards, and this is why we get such a variety of looks in the ring. So it's one of the things where it's an amazing situation, but it grew so fast, but it can also be detrimental until we put the brakes on a little bit, until we pump the brakes a little bit, until we get it going in the same lane. Then we're going to be okay. But it's going to get there. It's just such an amazing breed that it's going to take some time, because like I said, it rockets. It went to the moon and overnight. So it's one of those things where it's going to take some time, and it's actually coming to that look quicker than most people think. Like I said, the American Pit Bull Terrier is, it's over 135 years old. And then again, if you go back and look at the early years of the American Pit Bull Terrier, they were all over the place. And the same thing is happening with the American Bully. It's actually tightening up its belt, and it's getting a more consistent look than people may realize. So how do I feel about the American Bully? I think it's on a great pace, man. I think it's going to get where it needs to be. And it's going to be an amazing dog. It's going to be one of those iconic dogs that's going to be around for the archives. Will we ever be on the Westminster? I don't know. What people don't understand about the Westminster, it takes years just to be recognized by the AKC. The AKC, you have to have a parent club. You have to show lineage. You have to be, even for them to even look at you, you got to be in, 10 years, and you got to convince them, hey, take a look at me. It's one of those things where it's not an easy task. But I have high hopes for the American Bully. I love the breed. I've always loved the breed. I've had pit bulls, Amstaffs, my entire life. I love that, the lineage, the cousins all involved. And when I say cousins, I mean the pit bulls are cousin to the American Bully, the American Bully is cousin to the Amstaff. They're all cousins. So I've always had a favoritism towards that particular breed type of an animal. So I honestly think that we're destined for greatness. It's just a matter of time.
Before I ask another question, if you're on this platform, this is my platform, man. I worked hard to build this platform to where it's at right now, and it's just in the American Bully is in its infancy stage. So if you come on here and you're disrespecting, which I feel like you're disrespecting my guests, calling them liars, and because they got this blood, I'm gonna get you up out of here. I'm gonna block you. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's somebody well achieved like Mr. Ron Ramos. He deserves the ultimate respect. No matter what you think or what you feel, you're gonna respect him on my platform. I'm gonna get you up out of here. I don't care who you are. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like what I did. But Big Noriega, I blocked him because it was getting a little testy, man. And I wasn't feeling that. It was disrespectful to my guests, and we're here to educate. We're not here to have a pissing contest on who's right and who's wrong about the breed, because there's new people on here, and new people that will be watching this, and for their education and for their knowing is more important than whose dick is bigger.
Well, something. First of all, when you get somebody like that, don't even mention their name. I'm a firm believer in putting them in the closet. Don't give them no water. Don't give them no fertilizer. Put them in the dark and let them die. Some things. Even bad publicity is good publicity. So then people like that on your platform, don't even give them any recognition, man. You're going to have those people regardless. This is one guy out of thousands. So
he's not the only person I've had to get rid. I blocked a few people. Trust me.
Yeah, I believe that. It's one of the things where man, something. Again, this is your platform. You come a long ways. You deserve you deserve where you are at today. It didn't fall in your lap. It's something that you developed, you created, you grew, And the same thing with myself. I've been doing this many, many years. I don't have to prove myself to no one. I've been so blessed that I have such a great following and such a admiration and respect for my community. But it's mutual. You know, I never have thought I've been above anybody else, man. I've always been that guy. It's an open door. I'm still waiting for you to come visit. Anybody that knows me knows that. You know what I mean? It's an open door. I'm not.
Trust me, man.
You know.
I'm gonna make it my way out there, man. Me and Tone, we're gonna come out there together.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. It's one of those things, like I said, you know, I have nothing to prove to nobody, man. You know, if I ever got to prove anything to me, it's got to be, I got to prove to myself. I have nothing to prove to anybody, man. You know, my longevity, the respect that I get, not just from my community, but globally, it speaks volumes. I don't have to pump my chest up. I don't have to act like I'm somebody special. My followers, my community, I cannot thank them enough, man. There will never be a Papa Pit without people like yourself and all the many people that have given me, you know, the accolades and praise. I sometimes I feel like thank you is such a small word to say to my community. I just feel like I wish I could give a global hug, man, because I love my community, man. They've been so good to me, man.
My YouTube people, man, y'all on YouTube, man, I please like, subscribe, and share this video, and I really appreciate it, man. We work hard, man, to get these interviews, to get certain people on. I scramble a lot, man, just to get certain content on here. I don't want to be like any other podcast. I want to be different. You know, I don't want to, you know, whose dog got the bigger head. Let's stack up these dogs. You know, that I leave that for the other platforms that work for. But you know, I'm here to educate, man. This is the big thing for me. I want to push for this breed. I want to be one of the vanguards of this breed where they can look back and say, yo, man, Joel had this podcast, one of the first podcasts, and it was straight education. It wasn't bashing anybody. It wasn't bashing the breed. It was pushing the breed forward and bringing the people together in one common cause, and that's the advancement of the American bully breed.
You know, to add to that, just so you people know, man, I met Joel. It had to probably be his first show that he ever entered in a show ring and thing.
2015.
2015, and to witness what he has done since that point to now is honestly, it makes me very proud of this gentleman. You know, from his first show to, you know, having an established dog that is recognized globally, you know, to a platform where he's educating. You know, he does a lot of holistic stuff, which I admire. You know, I'm telling you, man, I have nothing but admiration for this gentleman, and so, you know, I mean, honestly, God, truth, follow this guy, man. He brings great content. You know, as far as like myself, you can find me as OG Ramos on Facebook, and that's the Mr. Papa Pit on Instagram. And for those people that know me, it's always been an open door. You know, I'm always here to help people. I have never turned anybody away. I don't go without ever not answering my emails. I will answer every email that comes to me, every question that comes to me. You know, good, bad, or indifferent. I will sit here and I will try to give you my opinion. I'm not going to force feed you to believe something you want to believe in. You know, I'm just here to try to help you along your path, man. Whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. You know, I'm not the guy that's I don't feed your dogs. I don't pay your rent. So, you know, if you want to hear what I have to say, that if I can feel like I can help you, by all means, I will do my best. And the same thing with Joel. Joel's here to help you. He's here to try to educate you. He's not force feeding anybody, man. You know, we don't pay your bills, man. So it's one of the things where we do this because it's a passion. We love what we do. I love my people in this community. I will do whatever I can for my community. And with that being said, you know, thank you so much. Well, I appreciate
Thank you, Mr. Ramos. I appreciate you having on. You have a wonderful night. You tell the wife I said have a blessed night, man.
All right. Peace. And we'll
All
see you
right,
in show
peace.
ring.
Yes, sir. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, man. If you are just coming in late, like my boy Trevi was popping, homie. Run this back, man. It was well worth it, man. Please like and share this video, man. Please, man. If you love this breed and you want people to get these gems like Mr. Ramos just dropped, please, man, I beg you, man. Please share this video. Please like, please subscribe, man. It helps the algorithms for this video to get pushed through the sea of bull crap that's going on. Yeah, please go back, Trev. What's going on? And I love y'all, man. And like I said, I'm about to just vibe for a few minutes. Y'all can stay. But this my track right here. It represents me, how I feel. Let's get it.
Kwaku killer don't lie when I say I did it. Big stars, big cash my way, but still I found it. Under 1 minute, still I can't believe. But I can't blame myself for this shit. I knew man them was born for this shit. Of course I fucked up. Who never fuck up? Hands in the air. No hands. Still I can't believe. You know what I mean? I was young, what you expect from me? It is what it is. But I keep going, no. More like a rolling stone, cause I have no stopping time. Can nobody stop a man? Oh, I keep going, no. More like a rolling stone, cause I have no stopping time. Can nobody stop a man? No, I'm gonna run my race. I'm gonna keep my pace. Cause I really have no one to play. When I fall again, I can't stand this pain. I can't watch me fail. So anytime you play, remember my name, remember you know a traveler. The name is Kwaku the Hustler. He's been far away, chasing Kuala. I'll be back again, for me coming. I swear on my life, I can't wait to be back. I know you miss me, I know. Remember you know a traveler. The name is Kwaku the Hustler. He's been far away, chasing Kuala. I'll be back again, for me coming. I swear on my life, I can't wait to be back. I know you miss me, I know. They say, when it's on and it's on, you can't stop till it's done. See, goddamn, I'm a buck. I brand see, I'm a siswa. It's a great man, oh. Tapping Kwana, I'm it's a great man, oh. It's a great man, oh. When it's on and it's on, I can't stop till it's done. See, goddamn, I'm a buck. I brand see, I'm a siswa. It's a great man, oh. Tapping Kwana, I'm it's a great man, oh. It's a great man, oh. Yeah. See me on the road, talking to the most. Remember you know a traveler. The name is Kwaku the Hustler. He's been far away, chasing Kuala. I'll be back again, for me coming. I swear on my life, I can't wait to be back. I know you miss me, I know. Remember you know a traveler. The name is Kwaku the Hustler. He's been far away, chasing Kuala. I'll be back again, for me coming. I swear on my life, I can't wait to be back. I know you miss me, I know.
More you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. That's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. You a friend of the Moors, then you a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those who speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you you wasn't black, proved it with straight facts. You tripping off trucks, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. The same people talk European how to bathe, and looking at women buying European hair. No love for self, but do the men really care? Hell no, cause they got a love for Europe. Whole generation chasing pills, weed and syrup. Yeah, they love Lil Yachty, Tucci, Gucci, Kodak, Amigos, Ross, Lucid. But where the love for the woman look like your mother, I guess they say it's all black when it's under the cover. Now cypher, I be that more you gon' remember. more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. All you super scholars holler, this era for the workers. You ain't building on the ground, then you worse than a twerker. You look and sound good, but that's only on the surface. Probably working for them people. Now tell me what's your purpose. Ain't worried about your homie, but know that I know every mo that rockin' fast. He ain't my bro. Yeah, you know I ain't slow. I seen it all before. How they try to kill the prophet, it was all for dough. And some got it right now. Don't say that I'm not down. I'm coming for my vast estate. I want my town, my sheriff, my stores, my school, my nation. Sick and tired of the procrastination and debate. Y'all keep hating when love is the savior. You don't love yourself, so you can't love your neighbor. That's why you kill and fight and marry out of your race. If you ain't for Moorish world, then get out of my face. Cause Chinese love China, Italians love Italy. If you used to love the Moorish world, come on and build it with me. Let's go. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number.